Hello and welcome to my channel. I am your host Eddie Kanobut. This is Isaac News, where we bring you up to speed with the amazing things happening in Nigeria. So today we're going to be talking about the Lekki Deep Seaport. So in case you don't know, the Lekki Deep Seaport that had begun construction back in 2020 has been completed and has been handed over to the Telegram groups by a construction company named China Habour. So we're going to dive deep into the video to consider the many prospects that it has to offer and the economic advantages of having a deep seaport situated in our free trade zone in Lagos. So stay tuned and enjoy the rest of the video. So one may ask, what is Lekki Deep Seaport? Lekki Deep Seaport is a multi-purpose deep seaport located in the Lagos Free Trade Zone in Lekki. It is the largest seaport in Nigeria and is one of the largest in West Africa. Lekki Deep Seaport is to be expanded to have a capacity of handling around 6 million containers and a significant volume of liquid and bulk cargoes. 6 million containers. This is supposed to be the capacity of the Lekki Seaport. So the Lekki Deep Seaport is being financed by private investors, okay? It is not a government-owned project. It is being financed by private investors and a consortium of banks who have funded this project with a whopping $1.5 billion, okay? $1.5 billion. This seaport is set to occupy over 90 hectares of land and is set to begin operations properly in the year 2023. So it has been completed as we speak. It will be commissioned. Very soon, but it will resume operations properly in the year 2023. The construction of the Lekki Deep Seaport was awarded to a Chinese construction group called the China Habour Group. So these people are, they have experience in construction of deep seaports, and so they were, after very careful examination and consultation, they were awarded the contract to construct. So after careful examination and findings, the government decided to award this contract to a Chinese construction company called the China Habour Group. So these are the guys that were saddled with the task of constructing this mighty edifice for the Nigerian people. So construction has been completed and it has been handed over to the Tolerance Group. So which group is this? So the Tolerance Group is basically a Singapore private enterprise focused on building businesses and investing in opportunities that propel growth and elevate communities. So these guys over from Singapore they did a market survey and they were like, we want to expand. Which country do you think is going to give us, good prospects? We're going to enjoy business and, make money. And they saw that, wow, Nigeria is well situated to make money from. So they came over to the country which you feel is, deteriorating and in decay, and they established a mega structure to help both themselves and the Nigerian people, the Nigerian government. So Tolerance Groups are the owner of the Lekki Deep Seaport. It is a private firm, a private enterprise. So because it is a private firm, we're not going to have all these ups and downs, unnecessary hitches and glitches, because private people are very business minded. They want to offer very good services in order to get maximum profit. Other than the other ports are all government owned, and we know how, unfortunately, government properties are being handled currently in our country. So this is a private owned port, meaning it will not be handled anyhow. They're going to do their job, on an international level so they can get maximum profits. So what's the economic prospect? What's the economic value? What value does Lekki Deep Seaport bring into this country? How are you and I going to benefit from this massive project that has been completed? So first and foremost, Lekki Deep Seaport cost about $1.5 billion to construct. That is very cheap compared to what I thought. I thought it was going to cost probably, I don't know, $20 billion. Don't blame me, since I don't have much money. I don't really know what billions of dollars actually mean? Maybe I'm thinking like, oh, billion of naira is not so much. But the point here is the price is not too expensive compared to the amount of money that this port is going to bring to the country. So it cost us about $1.5 billion to set up this port from scratch to finish. But then we are estimating that we're going to gain somewhere between $5 to $8 billion annually from Lekki Deep Seaport. So many research centers will say, okay, the port is going to give us about $361 billion in about 45 years. Well, I don't want to go too far and say, oh, 45 years. No, let us know our annual prospect, what we're expecting on an annual basis. So it's between $5 to $8 billion we're expecting from this seaport on an annual basis. Guys, think about it. It cost us 1.5 to do, and it took us about 2 years span. But we're going to make between $5 and $8 billion a year. Ego, what ego? Money. My guy here, what how do you say it? Money. So that just one. So it's gonna bring us a lot of money. What of direct labor? It is estimated that is going to provide about 193,000 jobs. The Lekki Deep Sea Port is going to provide about 193,000 jobs. Now, among this huge number, it's just a minority that that are going to have direct employment to work in that place, where the just people working the whole port are going to be paid a steady monthly income to help run their lives. Then we have all the people running indirect services to help the port run. So that is more money going into your pocket and my pocket. So I always tell people, whenever you see the government borrow, for instance, although this is a privately funded project, let us say the government of Nigeria borrowed $5 billion now. $5 billion cannot build a railway from scratch to finish. So you may not see that money affect the economy because that money is used to build infrastructure. But in the long run, that money will come back into your pocket and obviously my pocket. So there's a lot to benefit from this. Now, another point here is that Nigeria loses on an annual basis about $14 billion to poor infrastructure within the port section, PORT. Okay, so because of how bad we have handled our Apapa port, our Tin Land port, the port at Delta, the port at Asaba, specifically in Delta, we have a port in Akwa Ibom where I stay, the Ibaka Seaport. Another port. Now, poor infrastructure, poor organization, poor management, and poor service delivery have made us lose a whooping $14 billion, which from my estimation can build 7 ports of Lekki size. We lose it on a yearly basis to poor infrastructure. This port has come in his Obenge size to make sure that that $14 billion remains in your pocket and my pocket. So that is just one of the benefits. Right now, the Nigerian port has recorded a decline in traffic of about a total of 3,972 ships that we called into Nigeria in 2020. Now, even me, I'm almost confused, but what that means is that in 2019, we had 4,251 ships coming into Nigerian port. But in 2020, we had 3,000, that's less, 972 ships called into Nigerian port. Why? Because our both importers and exporters, our foreign investors found out that it was very hard to do business on Nigerian port, that it was really difficult and it was strenuous. Sometimes their goods come into the country and it takes maybe 6 months to leave the port and months for it to get to the people who ordered it, to the final consumers. So what they were doing is that they were going to Ghana, they were going to Togo, who had upgraded their ports, to land these containers there, and then now transport it from these our West African countries to Nigeria, which was their original intention because of how bad our ports were. So Lekki Deep Sea Port right now is going to come and cut off all those unnecessary diversions that is going to take more money out of the country by running the production like that. So every port, both the on a port, both the Tin Can Island port, the Apapa port, and every other port in Nigeria have observed a decline in business because of poor service delivery, poor infrastructure, poor organization, poor management. So with the onset of the Lekki Port, we're going to see all this traffic come back. Now, the traffic will not go to those ports because some of those ports are already congested. So this is a way of decongesting our Nigerian ports. If you stay in Lagos, you should know by now that the Apapa port creates a lot of gridlock, creates a lot of traffic, destroys the roads, and cause issues for the Lagos people. So Lekki Seaport is going to divert a lot of attention from this port in order to reduce traffic on that end. And when Apapa Port and Tin Can Port and or the on a port, when they receive fewer amount of goods, it will make them to be able to deliver efficient, or it will make their service delivery to be more efficient. So I have the capacity to probably handle maybe 10 visitors in my room, and I'm having 20. That room is going to be messy. But let's say a friend of mine gets an apartment around, and I now ship some of my friends, say, please go and stay with this person. And I now have maybe 7 people in my room. It's going to make an organization living together, tolerance, more attainable than if we were 20, which we were before. So this port is going to decongest other ports and make them function efficiently, effectively, and also attract businesses from other West African nations who probably have too much load to carry in their own ports. So summarily, it's going to save Nigeria $14 billion on a yearly basis. Is going to decongest our already over congested ports. Is going to provide about 193,000 jobs, direct and indirect, are all in that category. And it's just going to increase Nigeria's. It is going to make Nigeria very attractive to foreign markets and foreign investors to come in, knowing that they have an automated port. Even if they want to do importation or exportation, they have an automated port where their goods can land, and in a matter of weeks, it is out of the port heading to their desired destination. So thank you very much. This video is it's not long, but it's around it's long-ish. So if you've stayed till this point, it means you've derived value from this video. It means you like what you're hearing, and I am adjuring you, stay tuned. We're going to be dropping you with latest news on amazing things, super duper things going on in our country. Many things are happening, believe me. Many things are happening, and it's in our place to keep you updated. So please like, share, follow, subscribe, and everything you can do to make this video go viral and make people know what is happening in our country. And please always remember, pray for Nigeria, pray for the upcoming elections, pray for your president, and pray for our military. Those guys are always giving me joy. So till next time, stay blessed.